Welcome to episode 302 of the new Saturday Morning Hustle for 2023. Today, let's talk about the last 6 years of hustle culture from 2017 to today, the changes and what it means right now for this podcast. Let's also discuss work-life integration, not balance, plus a discussion about who should listen to this podcast and why. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. This is the Saturday Morning Hustle. The Saturday Morning Hustle is not standard hustle culture, not over, hyper, crazy hours, beat yourself to death, work yourself into the ground hustle culture that is traditionally thought of when you hear those terms. When I started this podcast 6 years ago, 302 episodes ago, what I was talking about hustle in 2017 is thought of differently when you use the term hustle, rise and grind, all of that stuff in 2023. A lot more people are focused on taking care of their mental and physical health. Important, and I agree with that totally. And a lot of people are focused on not working yourself to death, typically in a situation where they're working for someone else, making someone else a ton of money and them getting a little bit of money. But this podcast are for entrepreneurs and people who are really trying to build something. This is something that Gary Vaynerchuk says all the time. If you're happy with your life, don't listen to my podcast. If you're complaining about your life, if you want to change something about your life, listen to Gary V and his podcast because he talks about how to improvement, the sacrifice that's necessary, the work that's necessary. It's the same thing for the Saturday Morning Hustle. If you think hustle culture is crazy, if it doesn't fit your lifestyle, if you're not trying to achieve great things, if you're not trying to be great, don't listen to this podcast. It's not actually going to motivate you any. It probably will aggravate you, maybe irritate you, because we are talking about hustle. We are talking about putting extra effort in. We are talking about coming in early, staying late, doing whatever it takes, but not simply counting hours and thinking about putting more work into someone else. You don't achieve things by clocking in more hours. You achieve things, you achieve greatness, you create success by doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done and have an attitude of willingness. That is true hustle. That's what we're going to talk about today. That's why the Saturday Morning Hustle is not standard hustle culture. Hustle culture has a negative connotation to it in 2023. That's not what we do on this podcast. That's not what we're talking about today. Instead, we're going to talk about what this podcast means to us, those of us who are trying to do something better, trying to be great, trying to create success for ourselves, for our families, for our businesses, for who we are, what we do, and the people around us that are important to us. So the reason that the Saturday Morning Hustle is not a standard hustle culture is it's not about the number of hours you put in. It's not about quantity. Success, achieving is not about quantity. Simply working more hours does not guarantee success. And working in an unfocused way is wasteful. It's actually the opposite of what we're trying to achieve. So simply doing work or working hard without focus, without vision, without a guide as to what it is you're trying to achieve, without a strategy. I talk about strategy a lot because my day job is talking about strategies, being strategic for businesses. You can apply this if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a small business, if you have a self-brand, if you're a musician, an artist, a podcaster, social media influencer, anything that you are trying to achieve and create success for you that benefits you, you can apply a strategic approach to. You can be smart in what you're doing, set goals, take those goals and break them down into objectives. From those objectives, you create a strategy about how to best achieve them. Then you can understand the tactics necessary, how to measure success, how to make your adjustments, how to continually move forward. That is a strategic approach. That is a focused approach. That is how you actually achieve goals, by breaking those goals down into subsets and then achieving the small ones, which then ultimately lead you to achieving the big goals. If you're trying to achieve something, if you're trying to run a business, if you're trying to launch a startup, if you're trying to create a side hustle, if you're trying to create a self-brand, if you're trying to replace your day job with that side hustle, you have to set goals. You have to measure your progress in order for you to consider yourself successful at any point. That takes focused effort. Unfocused effort is wasteful. It's not the number of hours you put in or quantity. It's the quality of the hours you put in by taking an approach of being strategic, achieving goals in a specific way to move you in a specific direction, and having the attitude of willingness to do what it takes when it's necessary. If there's nothing extra to be done on Saturday, sleep in, go to the gym, spend some time doing something different, drink a cup of coffee, read a book, spend some time with people that you value in your life, whatever it is. But if you need to get ahead of Monday morning, if you need to be prepared for a meeting, if you need to have your social media planned out, if you need to create support or assets for what you're doing early in the week, then you have to do it on Saturday. You have to do it on Sunday. You have to go in early on Monday morning. You have to stay late on Friday. You have to avoid going out if what you need to achieve is important and important to you. And you are focused in your effort. You must work smart before you work hard. Most people say work smart so that you don't have to work hard. Actually work smart and work hard. A willingness to do what it takes in order to get it right. That is what working smart and working hard is. An attitude, a willingness to do what it takes when it's necessary, not putting hours in, but doing what it takes. If it takes an extra 5 minutes, if it takes an extra 5 hours, to get it right, to produce quality, to provide something of value, to do something that no one else has or can or is doing. That is working smart and working hard. Working smart is asking for advice, for input, for feedback or guidance from other people. It's okay to ask for help. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have everything planned out. You don't have to be an expert at everything. In fact, you can't possibly be an expert at everything, but a willingness to engage others, to ask for advice and input, to take guidance, and then make the adjustments necessary. These are all working smart. Working smart is necessary before you work hard, because when we discuss hustle on the Saturday morning hustle, we're not talking about the number of hours or quantity. We're talking about the quality and willingness to do what it takes. Do what is needed when needed. Make your adjustments because you've asked for advice, input, and guidance. Sometimes what is needed when needed, it's nights and weekends. Sometimes it's early, coming in early. Sometimes it's staying late. So also, sometimes you have to do that in order to lead other people, to demonstrate leadership. You often have to come in early, stay late, first one in, last one out, etc., in order to gain the trust and the buy-in from other people that you're collaborating with. If it's you, if it's what you're trying to achieve, it's your business, it's your brand, it's worth it. If it's your passion, if you're trying to be great, if you're trying to do something great, if you have passion for it, if you have drive for it, that extra effort is worth it, and not the number of hours, but your willingness to do what it takes when it's necessary. If you have passion, those things will balance out. The hard work will not feel hard at all. If you do it smartly, if you do it with focus, if you do it with a strategy, then it's not about putting our effort in. It's about putting focused effort in when necessary, as necessary. Hustle is also not about winning or beating your competition. Listen to this again. It's not about winning. It's not about knocking out the competition. It's not about achieving 1 extra minute, 1 extra hour more than a coworker or a competitor. It's about being the best you in the best scenario. This is why it's a willingness to do what is necessary when it's necessary if you have passion and drive for something, because being the best you in the best scenario is advantageous. That's how you create success. That's how people see you as successful. That's how people see you as valuable, how they want to work with you, how they want to pay you money for your services, how they want to engage you, how they want to collaborate with you, how they want to provide opportunities to you, is because you are the best you in the best scenario, because you work smart and you work hard. That is a true definition of Saturday morning hustle. Why Saturday morning? I'll sidebar this a little bit, because Saturday mornings for me, and everyone's different. I've said this on the podcast before. Some people's Saturday morning hustle is Sunday morning or Sunday evening or Wednesday after 5. It doesn't matter when it is, but it's about finding extra time to put extra effort in that's actually not disruptive to your life. That's the work-life integration conversation we'll have in a minute. But hustle in being the best you in the best scenario, and then finding the opportunities, creating bonus time to do that extra work, to put the extra effort in, or just simply to have the time to slow down, to review, to plan, to be strategic, to think, to look at your measurements and understand the adjustments necessary. All of these things allow your process to work. For me, it's Saturday morning. I don't sleep very much. I'm not very good at sleeping in on the weekends. And there's lots of time early Saturday morning before anything's happening. If it's going to a college football game later in the afternoon, if it's going to lunch, if it's going to see family, if it's running errands or any other sort of routine, those things can happen later in the morning. For me, Saturday mornings is a time when it's quiet. The phone isn't ringing. My emails aren't pinging. No one's trying to talk to me. Even social media is a little bit boring and slower on Saturday morning, between the time I get up, about the time the sun comes up, and about the time that lunch comes around and the rest of the world is hustling and bustling, and there's fun things to do, there's interesting things to do, there's necessary things to do, and there's things that you can interact with other people around that time of the day. That gap is good for me. It's how I find a way to get ahead, to plan, to create things, that assets, etc., that help me in the next week, to schedule, to be prepared to hit Monday morning as fast and as hard as I can in my business and in my personal life. Saturday morning is my bonus time. That's why this is the Saturday morning hustle. Your hustle, your bonus time, your extra effort can be any time it works for you. You don't have to do it the way I do it, but you do have to do more. If you expect to be great, if you want to be the next big thing, if you want to achieve, if you want to have success, if you want to excel, if you want to be the next man or woman up for the big opportunity, it won't happen accidentally. You have to be specific. You have to be strategic. You have to put smart, focused effort in. You have to be the best you in the best scenario, so that when the person, when the organization, when the universe provides the next opportunity, you're the best person to fulfill it. You provide value because you work smart and you work hard. You're willing to be a part of something great because you work smart and you work hard. Great things require hard work and sacrifice. It's just how it is. Would love to tell you you can don't have to work hard and still achieve great things. That's just not the truth. That's not how the universe works. That's not how the world works. But it doesn't mean you have to grind yourself to the bare bone. It doesn't mean you have to work yourself to death to achieve great things. It means you have to work smart and the willingness to work hard when it's necessary in order to achieve more, and then finding bonus time, those extra moments, those extra hours, those parts of the day, the week, the month that are being underutilized to do just a little bit more in order to be the best you in the best scenarios. All of this works if it serves your why, your passion, your drive, not chasing money, not about being rich, not about creating opportunities to have the fanciest car, the fanciest house, the nicest stuff. That is all secondary. Those things will all fade away. But your why, the thing that you want to achieve, the reason you want to be great, the things you want to provide for other people, the value that you want to create, the thing that gets you up early in the morning, the thing that keeps you up at night trying to figure out how to do it better, the thing that drives you to come in the office on Saturday when no one else is around, the thing that allows you to work smart and work hard and be focused and put the extra effort in and find that extra time because you want to do it. You know that old saying, right? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. This is absolutely true, but that is Will Rogers said that. I believe that's his version of your why, which of course, Simon Sinek, know your why. This is a conversation we've had on this podcast as well. If your effort, if your focus, if your strategy, if you work smart, if you work hard, if your bonus time is all serving your why, if you have passion for it, if it drives you, if it makes you feel fulfilled, then you're actually doing more for your life. This is the discussion of work-life. People like to say work or life balance. I've said it on this podcast before. From my business podcast, Pritchard coined the term work-life integration. I think it works better. You can't completely separate your work and your out of work life, your home life, however you want to call it, work and life. They do go together. They do cross over each other. If you feel good at work, if you feel great about your work, if you have passion for your work, if you're pursuing your why, whether it's your main job or a side hustle or something extra you're doing, if it's something that fulfills you, as it filters into the rest of your life, your outside of work life, it benefits it. It makes you better. It makes you happier. It makes those moments more special because you're doing things that fulfill you, that provide you the satisfaction of achieving your why. Why do you exist? Why are you here? Why are you doing the things you do? These are the things that are your why. If you can embrace that, if you can incorporate that into your work, the thing that helps you pay the bills and take care of responsibilities and provide for people that are important to you, if you can align all these things, if you can integrate all of these things, then your work will be better, your life will be better, and the integration will make both of them beneficial. This is also why it's not a work-life balance. Balance infers that there's a 50-50. For every bit of this, you have to have a bit of that. For every hour that you're working, you have to have an hour off work. For every achievement, everything that you put into work or achieving success, you also have to put into your personal relationships and things otherwise. It's just not that black and white. It's not that specific. Instead, work-life integration is where you find satisfaction in having work in your life, and your life is benefited from the work that you do. If you can do that, if you can put those things together, then you can create great amount of success for yourself by working smart, working hard, by being strategic and understanding and pursuing your passion or your why. So I'm going to leave you guys today with the definition, the actual official definition of the Saturday Morning Hustle podcast to kind of sum up what I was just discussing with you over the last 15, 18, maybe 20 minutes or so, to sum all this up and let you know how we're going to move forward in 2023 with the Saturday Morning Hustle podcast. Because this is the Saturday Morning Hustle. No hyperbolic hustle culture, just straightforward business advice and motivation every Saturday for entrepreneurs, business owners, or anyone pursuing success. If you want something bad enough, then rise and grind. You can't just work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and hope to become the next big thing. You must work smart, work hard, and put in extra effort while everyone else is sleeping, playing games, or wasting time. Maximize bonus time to get extra work done. This podcast is for anyone willing to come in early, stay late, and hustle on the weekends to be great. Not just be good, not just make a couple bucks, to be great. There it is. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you stream, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. I would appreciate that very much. It would help other people learn all about the Saturday Morning Hustle through the algorithm, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and just tell a friend. Share it on social media. Let people know if you appreciate the Saturday Morning Hustle podcast. I would appreciate that greatly. Make sure you follow and engage us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the Saturday Morning Hustle fan page on Facebook as well. Don't miss an episode of Balance bonus series, which we just completed, episode 24, the last 2 years, anywhere you find the Saturday Morning Hustle. The last episode was, can you actually balance your work and non-work life? Discussion that we're having today in a much deeper format with much more specific information. So make sure you guys go check out episode 24 of the Balance series, bonus content from the Saturday Morning Hustle. Make sure you get your Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, and Coffee and Donut swag as well. New stuff coming out soon. I'll be revamping the store. I've pulled some stuff down. I'll be adding some new stuff very soon as well. All the info, all the past information, all the swag is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. See you next week.